any ministerial statements. I call the Honourable the Premier.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, today I can announce that it is a double donut day. No new cases, Mr Speaker. We have 15 active cases, 7,999 tests, and 14,112 vaccines were delivered by Queensland Health in the past 24 hours. We now have 82.29% of Queenslanders have had one dose. Great news, Mr Speaker. And 70.54% are fully vaccinated. Mr Speaker, Queensland's strong health response to the pandemic has allowed our strong economic response, and we go from strength to strength. Our children are at school, their parents are at work, and our state is safe. Mr Speaker, this is a world-leading result, and the credit for this belongs to each and every Queenslander. This government went on a vaccination drive, and the results are now speaking for themselves, and I thank all Queenslanders. Mackay up 4.5% in a week. Central Queensland up 4.1% on last week. North West Queensland up 4% on last week. And Cairns up 3.5% from the previous week, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, we set a target to get 70% of eligible Queenslanders fully vaccinated by November 19, and we beat it by nearly a week. This has allowed us to bring forward plans to open our borders to travellers from hotspots interstate, allowing them to home quarantine and reuniting friends and families sooner. Mr Speaker, we have achieved these results by bringing the vaccine closer to the people. Whether it is at Bunnings or your local school, thousands have taken advantage of the protection of getting the vaccine, but more needs to be done. Mr Speaker, which is why this weekend is another Super Schools Weekend. Mr Speaker, we are going to target 100 schools, Mr Speaker, to be open this weekend right across Queensland, from Gordonvale, Dalby, Merrimack, Southport, Mackay, Deception Bay, just to name a few. More schools will be added throughout the week, and I encourage all members to spread the word. Mr Speaker, I have also announced measures to reward those who are fully vaccinated and protect the freedoms Queensland has enjoyed throughout the pandemic. Mr Speaker, the only way we achieve this is if everyone at these venues is vaccinated. That includes making sure our pubs, clubs and cafes can operate without restriction, that our music venues that have really done it tough, Mr Speaker, cinemas and theatres can safely welcome a full house, that families can go to the cricket or the footy knowing that the people around them are safe, and that we can do it all without masks so we can see each other smile again. This is both a reward for those who are fully vaccinated and a precaution for the time when more cases arrive in Queensland. These measures have been welcomed by the AMA, who said, "I think the mandate is a great idea." Bernie Hogan from the Queensland Hotels Association said it was a relief for his members. John Collins from the Triffin Music Venue described it as a game-changer. I know that there are some people, Mr Speaker, out there who still have questions about the vaccine. They should talk to their trusted local family GP or a pharmacist or the health professionals at our vaccination clinics. They are there to listen and to put your mind at ease. We have just 31 days before December 17 when our borders open more fully. It is vital Queensland achieves 80% of those eligible vaccinated before an outbreak arrives. Mr Speaker, there is only one thing I want for Christmas, and that is for the people of this state to be protected. And the best way to do that is to go and get vaccinated. Mr Speaker, I am pleased to advise the House that my government's $265 million satellite hospitals program is forging ahead. And Mr Speaker, I can announce today a very important milestone. Hutchinson Builders have been appointed as the Stage 1 managing contractor. This means that we are a step closer to delivering 7 satellite facilities that will bring healthcare closer to home. The program is the first of its type in Australia and will bring new and improved health services to the heart of growing local communities. The 7 satellite hospitals will be built in the areas of Caboolture, Bribie Island, Pine Rivers, Redlands, Brisbane South, Ipswich and Tugun. 6 parcels of land have already been identified as ideal locations for these health facilities, and land acquisition is either finalised or well underway. The 7th site is also progressing well, with further announcements to come. Mr Speaker, this is all about investing in health and investing in infrastructure. It's about creating jobs, increasing the capacity of our health system and strengthening the economy, all vital to our COVID-19 economic recovery plan. The satellite hospitals will take pressure off our health system by easing demand on major hospitals. It will also support hundreds of jobs for Queenslanders. The economic benefits will be significant, with the satellite hospitals program anticipated to support more than 770 local jobs during construction and many more once operational. This is a key part of our economic recovery plan. Community consultation has been happening to make sure the health services offered are what the community needs. All sites will include minor injury and illness centres, with other services ranging from day therapy services, including chemotherapy and renal dialysis, to outpatient clinics and opportunities for community health services and virtual healthcare. Mr Speaker, the Satellite Hospitals program is a key element of my government's record $22.2 billion health budget for 2021-22, which is supporting the health and safety of Queenslanders as well as supporting local jobs. Mr Speaker, by investing in new infrastructure, we're putting Queensland on the road to recovery. Today I can confirm that we're one step closer to starting major construction on the second M1, with some works already underway. We've contracted Arcionia, Construction Australia and Fortitude Valley-based Giorgio Group to start early weeks, while WSP and Spring Hill-based BG&E Group finalise designs. Mr Speaker, I'm advised that means we'll be officially turning the sod on the Stage 1 north section of the project from Coomera to Helensvale in the middle of next year, once federal environmental approvals have been obtained. In addition, we're also forging ahead with the Stage 1 central component of the project from Helensvale Road to the Smith Street motorway. Requests for proposals on the Stage 1 central package will be available to industry before the end of the year. This is great news for the people on the Gold Coast, and one that we committed to at the election campaign, Mr Speaker. Up to 210,000 cars travel on the M1 every day. Building the Coomera connector is vital to easing congestion between Brisbane and the Gold Coast and catering for strong population growth in the region in the future. With the 2032 Olympic Games on the horizon, it's never been more important to invest in vital transport infrastructure and work with the Commonwealth to ensure Queenslanders get their fair share. That's why we've committed $755 million to deliver the 16-kilometre first stage of this important project.
Order, members.
So much good news today, Mr Speaker. So much good news. So
Premier,
much
you have
good
the call.
news. In fact, there's even more. There's even more. There's even more. That's right, they don't like good news. Mr Speaker, the nominees for Queensland Australian of the Year awards were so many and so deserving that any of them would fill us with pride at the National Awards event in January. In challenging times when critics have the loudest voice, it is refreshing to hear about dedicated people who are working hard every single day to improve the communities across our great state. I was honoured to present this year's awards to the wonderful Queenslanders who will represent us in Canberra on the eve of Australia Day. The Queensland Australian of the Year recipients are Sue Ann Lloyd-Clark, parents of the late Hannah Clark. Terrible circumstances brought Sue and Lloyd into our lives, but we are so grateful for their involvement in ending domestic and family violence with the Small Steps for Hannah's Foundation. The Queensland Senior Australian of the Year is Colin Dillon, Australia's first Indigenous police officer and the first officer to courageously tell the Fitzgerald inquiry about the corruption he saw. He is an inspirational role model for all of us. The Queensland Young Australian of the Year is mental health advocate Dr Tani Bridson. Tani's work is teaching us to remember to consider the well-being of our health professionals, just as they look after ours. And the Queensland Local Hero for 2022 is Saba Abraham, for helping refugee women into work and for translating COVID messaging. Her pride in Queensland is as big as her heart. Mr Speaker, there were 4 nominees in each of the 4 categories. They were all inspiring, and it was wonderful to meet them there last week. We also heard again from the 2021 winners, reminding us that the talent, sacrifice, generosity and community spirit of Queenslanders is on display year after year. I said on the night that a little bit of positivity goes a long way. In fact, there was enormous positivity, which goes a very long way. Mixing afterwards with the nominees and their families was so enjoyable, and it was wonderful to see the families coming up telling me that they've all been vaccinated. I thank and congratulate every nominee and wish our 2022 Queensland Australian of the Year recipients well for the national awards.
I call the Deputy Premier.
Mr Speaker, global giants continue to recognise Queensland as a world leader